The steadiness of mind by realizing Brahman, wherever the mind goes, is known as supreme dharana, concentration. Let mind go anywhere, but wherever the mind goes, steadiness of mind through relation of Brahman is always there. That is supreme dharana. But when the mind is fully concentrated on every object it comes in contact, realizing it Brahman and discarding the names and forms on it by ignorance, then alone one is said to have reached the Dharana state. Dhyana is very important. What is Dhyana? He explains here. It is 123 shloka. Remaining independent of everything as a result of the unassailable thought, I am verily Brahman, is well known by the word Dhyana and is productive of supreme bliss. That is Dhyana. I am verily Brahman is Dhyana. Unless you merge with Brahman, it is not Dhyana at all. One should carefully practice this Dhyana that reveals his natural bliss until being under his full control. It comes spontaneously, instant when called into action. This is what is Dhyana. For one who has been well established in yoga, inaction is said to be the way. The real nature of such a man, Shruti says, he who realizes Supreme Brahman becomes himself Brahman, Mandukya Upanishad, and his nature also merges in that of Brahman, which is beyond mind and speech. That is Dhyana. It should merge in that Brahman. Once it is merged with Brahman, it is beyond the mind and speech. Taittiriya Upanishad, 2nd chapter and 9th shloka is Samadhi. It is 127, 128 shlokas. While practicing Samadhi, is always an obstacle. Lack of inquiry, idleness, desire for sense pleasure, sleep, dullness, distraction, sense of blankness. All this happens. Innumerable obstacles. One desiring the knowledge of Brahman should slowly get rid of such innumerable obstacles. While thinking of an object, the mind truly identifies it with that. And while thinking of void, what is shunya? When mind thinks of some object, this becomes itself that mind. When it think of shunya, void, it becomes blank. Whereas by the thought of Brahman, it attains perfection. So need not be blank or thought of an object. Thought of Brahman has to come. So one should constantly think of Brahman to attain perfection. You know that whatever one thinks, one becomes. This is Shankara's word. Whatever we think of ourselves, we become that. We think of Brahman ourselves, we become Brahman. Nothing wrong in it. So what we think of ourselves makes all the difference. we think of ourselves as Brahman, we become Brahman. So one desiring to attain perfection should leave aside all thought of duality, fixing of one's mind upon the non-dual Brahman that is only perfect. Those who give up this supreme thought of Brahman, who cannot think of Brahman otherwise, they think everything not that Brahman as oneself. Their life is, he calls, vyartha, and from the same level of pashus, beasts. And he further says, man has the unique opportunity of raising Brahman and thus becoming free from bondage of ignorance. Ignorance is the bondage. Man only can is having opportunity to realize Brahman, and thus he can become free from the ignorance. But if he fails to avail this opportunity, it can hardly be called human beings. And we are no way different from the lower animals. Those virtual persons who at first have this consciousness of Brahman and then develop it more and more. It's an intensity. To start realizing Brahman, continuously doing it, that intensity of feeling comes. You realize Brahman in toto. Don't expect it to happen tomorrow, but a step by step. And every day the intensity has to increase. But I assure you, in the process of realizing Brahman, realizing self, realizing supreme universal consciousness and energy, you are not coming out of all the materialistic comforts. You enjoy every bit of it. I always tell this. No. After long practice, the aspirant at first realizes, while in Samadhi, the presence of Brahman. Brahman pervades the inner and outer world. This is not all. You should then hold on the Brahmic consciousness until he feels he and Brahman is one. Then becomes completely free from all the bondages of duality and ignorance. This is the consummation of spiritual practice. Only those in whom this consciousness Brahman being ever present grows into maturity, attain the state of ever existent Brahman. This consciousness is Brahman. Alone is the reality pervading our whole being. I repeat, when I use the word Brahman, it refers to self. It refers to supreme cosmic or universal consciousness as well. Supreme cosmic energy. That is self. That is Brahman.